Thank you, Unity Band. That was lovely. Good morning. Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center of Lansing. I'm Reverend Sharon Ketchum, so happy to welcome you here today. And for those of you joining us online, welcome to you also. This is National Hispanic Month, so if you have a little Spanish heritage, you might want to think about that. Even if you don't, you might want to think about the impact it's had on our society. And if you're new to us, I hope you received a light bulb coming in, because truly your presence lights up our lives, so we want to return the favor by giving you a little light. Unity is a prayer ministry. We have a prayer box over there for your prayer requests. Our prayer team will pray with you for 30 days, and then we send it to Silent Unity for an additional 30 days of prayer. And over there is more of a prayer activity center. If you'd like to be a little more active in what you're doing around your prayer, there's directions over there. And if you're online, you can go to our website and put in a prayer request. Let us join together in our mission statement. Why are we here? Together, we spiritually awaken to our oneness with God, with each other, and with all creation. This comes out of our vision, seeing a world powerfully transformed through a growing movement of a shared spiritual awakening. Awakening not where there's a right and a wrong way, but awakening where we honor each other, whatever path we're on and where we are on that path, knowing that there is only one presence, but many paths to get there. So let us affirm together: the enlightenment of the Buddha shines within us, the compassion of the Christ moves through us, the power of Jehovah strengthens and guards us, the presence of Allah surrounds and guides us. Wherever we are, the Tao is, and all is God. We're going to join together now to bring our consciousness together in a song called In This Very Room. Thank you, Greg.
In this very room, there's quite enough love for one like me. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for one like me. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For spirit, sweet spirit, is in this very room. In this very room, there's quite enough love for one like me. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for one like me. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For spirit, sweet spirit, is in this very room.
Oh, we just breathe that in as we come together, knowing there is more than enough for all of us. As we join together in prayer this morning, it's going to be a big stretch. One of the things that really fills my heart this week is all the honoring of creative and intellectual work. The Nobel Peace Prizes have been coming out. The MacArthur Fellows Genius Awards have been coming out, just celebrating people that we don't know their names, because there's so many heroes in our world, the heroes that are just doing incredible things, so it's nice to know they're honored. Also, Pope Francis has made amazing strides this week. He called together a synod, which is a meeting where they vote on things about where the church is going. He's included women in the vote. He wants this to be a grassroots movement in the Catholic Church. Wow. Yeah. I mean, he really is such a man of the people. It was wonderful. And then yesterday was an earthquake in Afghanistan. They are in recovery. And of course, most of all, I'm feeling the world is just reeling from this war that has broken out in Israel. It's 50 years since the Yom Kippur War. And the war these days, it doesn't follow rules anymore. It's hitting civilians. They're targeting civilians, whether it's in Ukraine, whether it's in Israel, in the Gaza. So our hearts are open this morning to include everything from the light of creativity and intellectual work to the horrors of man against man, humans against humans. So as we take that all into prayer, knowing our oneness, we're going to sing into our prayer and keep our hearts open as wide as we can.
Every prayer is answered, every prayer is heard, every thought and feeling, every spoken word, what your soul has longed for, what your heart can feel is already here, is already real. There is no one out there, there is no one else. You hold all the answers deep inside yourself. There's a voice that whispers, there's no you, no me. There's just one, there's just unity. One power, one presence, one light to lead the way. All loving, all knowing, that answers when you pray. When the world looks darkest and your eyes can't see, gather all your troubles, give them all to me. I am always with you, I will always be. I am one, I am unity. We are one, we are unity.
Amen. Okay, we're going to take a little moment to say hello to each other at the table with a little intellectual question for you. If you were a rose, when would you consider yourself most perfect? When you were a bud, when you were slightly open, when you were fully open, or when you were going to seed? Oh, I can hear the brains moving right around. When would you consider yourself most perfect?
Trick question.
And I changed it. The first one is going to be, at what thing are you perfect?
Oh, wow.
But
I'm glad
This
you,
is kind of fun, introspective.
Yeah, I mean, to me, not really a trick question, but every single step, every single phase has the same beauty.
And we probably have our favorites.
Yeah, I mean, I like the slightly open personally. I like the shape of that.
And when it's a bud, you just know the potential.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a little baby.
Right.
Like Bill Geddes, she does those pictures of babies and
Right.
flowers and vegetables and
Those
stuff.
are wonderful pictures.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
what's your answer to this?
And the seeds, I mean, boy, the potential in that.
If you're really into the potential,
Yeah,
this little tiny seed is going to become
a
beautiful.
whole new rose garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like the Unity Village. Okay, ready to open some doors?
I'm sorry?
You ready to open some doors?
I am. I'm ready.
Okay, we'll go.
Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light.
Feel free to stand.
Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shout it out loud. I understand now what I'm here for and what this life is about. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand, about lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. There's a voice that I've heard for years. I've learned to keep it inside. Well, now it's coming in loud and clear. I want a deeper life. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand, about lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine.
Good morning. I'm Stacey, your platform assistant for today. Unity's daily word this morning is together, inspired by Jesus' word in the Gospel of Matthew. Where 2 or 3 are gathered, I am there among them. Joining with others to work makes the job easier. Joining together for fun multiplies the enjoyment. The camaraderie, cooperation, and support of togetherness gives us a boost and brightens our mood. The indwelling Christ presence is alive in all people everywhere. Where we work, play, or pray with others, something greater than the sum of our individual efforts and insights results. The divine love that binds us multiplies as we recognize it in one another and give it fuller expression in ourselves. Work becomes more productive, play more enjoyable, and prayer more fulfilling. Together, we produce more good work and feel more joy and happiness than any of us could accomplish on our own. Let us affirm together. The presence of God unites us as we work, play, and pray together. This month, we are focusing on Unity's core value of integrity. Integrity is aligning our inner sense of wholeness with our actions. Living in integrity expresses as such qualities as honesty and consistency of character. We talk our walk and walk our talk. Our actions are kind, loving, inclusive, and authentic. Let's affirm our integrity statement together. We apply unity principles by making and keeping our agreements in thought, word, and action. Now it is my pleasure to welcome Rachael Gates and her daughter Elle to inspire us with their music. Thank you.
Oh, what a beautiful song. Thank you, Rachel. I love synchronicities. On your table this morning, there's appreciative interview form, speaking of love in any language. And what I'm going to put out to you over the next couple weeks, if you would take one of those and interview somebody maybe that you don't know about their experience here at Unity or you don't know well, but knowing that Unity people hate to follow rules or even guidelines, you can talk to somebody you do know, or if you're really shy, you can take it home and fill out just your experience. But we're going to do a workshop in November about co-creating our future. So what's really important is finding out what's working for us. So I don't care if this is your first day here or your 3,300th day at a Unity service, your input is really important. So if you would think about that and how that's going to work for you, that would be great. I think that I made some suggestions on there. You could do one of you 1 week after service. It takes about 10 minutes, and the next week come back and do the other. Somebody interview the other person. I will let you be creative with it. Okay. With that, we are on to our spiritual liberation series this fall. Do we have any quiet games over there? I bet you there's some coloring books. Okay. Edmund, could you maybe get them some coloring books or something quiet on there? It's interesting, speaking of synchronicity, it's just been a world of it today. I'm speaking about the myth of perfection. NPR at 11 o'clock in 7 more minutes is going to start in the Hidden Brain show, The Perils of Perfection. It just seems like it keeps showing up. And then today we have a wonderful workshop with Ruth Furno afterwards. And the church that she goes to in Indianapolis I just happened to start mentoring with a minister that's been ordained in another religion and is becoming a Unity minister, and I'm her mentee. So I mean, we're doing the dance today. This wonderful dance of synchronicity. I love it when life is like that. Now, this is another thing I love. Man plans, God laughs. In that case, I'd rather be God. But isn't that true? As a human, we love our plans, and the universe just laughs at this need we have to control things, to make things perfect, to keep things right in neat and tidy order, if you will. But the truth is, what I think our purpose is here is to create a home for a total acceptance of ourselves and our heart. It's not about creating anything out there, fitting things in a box. It's about finding a way to live in love and compassion, first of all with ourselves, because we need to do that before we can be in love and compassion with others. This bar of perfection is really high, and I have things in the Bible that I stumble over, and this is one of them, that Jesus said, "Be therefore perfect like your Father in heaven is perfect." And at that point, I just walked away. I mean, this is an impossible thing. How could I possibly be perfect? I make mistakes all the time, and as we like to say, we are not a mistake-free church, but we are a blame-free church. We know that we are human, and that's how we learn and grow. So what does this thing to be perfect mean? So I like to go back to the original languages. And the New Testament was originally given to us in Greek. And in Greek, teleo means complete. Okay, that's a little easier to incorporate than perfect. To be complete, that means with all my bruises, my mistakes, and the good stuff and the stuff I'm working on. But then if you go back to the language that Jesus spoke, Aramaic, the closest word is shalem, which is an adjective of shalom, seldom used as an adjective, which means total, fulfilled, perfect, a covenant of peace. Be therefore in a covenant of peace, as God, the universe, is in a covenant of peace. I can start resonating with that. It's not something out here. It's an internal work. It's a way of being, of just being really present and whole. But some of these things that are written in this book called the Bible, they were written as myths. And myths are stories that we use to tell something that's bigger than a truth that words can't tell us, and to give us insight. But so many times we settle into the myth like in a historical novel, as opposed to getting the lesson that it was written to give us. So if you look at the book from the creation story all the way to Revelation, there's a lot about mistakes and punishment. A lot of punishment going on, especially in the Old Testament. Holy wars of mass destruction. And there's this thing with Israel, and Gaza goes on. Do you realize it's a 5,000-year-old story of David, who was Hebrew, and Goliath, who was Philistine, fighting it out? It is the same battle over and over again. Thousands of years. It's the same story over and over. And then in between all these pain and punishment and wars, there's these moments, these glimmers of hope and pray and healing, inspiration. There's beautiful poetry in there. So out of all that, and out of all those pages, whether you've read them or not, we seem to have taken away a couple key points for some odd reason. This is what we seem to have adopted, that we were born in original sin. Cross that one out. Anybody who's seen a baby knows it's an original blessing, not an original mistake. And that when we make wrong choices, we are punished for eternity, which somehow seems entirely unfair. It doesn't even balance on things. But why have we taken away, created these self-myths for ourselves from these writings that were trying to inspire us with deeper meanings? So the idea of the myth, I love this way to explain what a myth is. It opens the door to a world that cannot be predicted and controlled, where truth is more amorphous, multifaceted, relative, pluralistic. See, when we talk about fact, it's a very hardline thing. It's very narrow. When you get into the myth is written so that we can understand it at the level we are at that time. And then we can hear the story again and understand it in a different manner. And we can hear it yet again, or somebody else hears it, and they get a totally new insight out of it. It's an insight that very often is beyond words that we can say. But it's a heart experience. It's a heart learning. It's coming into tune, I believe, with the universe. But the idea of perfection is so widely taught and widely adopted and believed. Why we do this to ourselves, that there is some kind of perfect answer, the perfect mate. I was raised on that. You know, every princess, there was one person only that they would meet at some point. And if you made the wrong answer, wrong guess, oh well. And if you go back to the original myths, the allegories of the creation story, that humans wanted to eat from the tree of knowledge. They wanted to know more. We all want to know more. We are curious. It's one of the greatest gifts we have as humans, to be curious. How does this work? What more is there? I mean, it's that kind of driving, interactive force with us within the universe. And then the story says that we were banned from paradise that were unworthy because we didn't follow the rules. Whoa, here we get it again. Be perfect, follow the rules. You got to do this exactly, right? Or else you're going to be banned from everything good and beautiful and lovely. Yeah, right. This is the bar we will never reach. And I think the story, I would like to rewrite it that, as humans who made a decision, we wanted to go off on our own. Everything was so perfect here. We wanted to work and build it ourselves as opposed to just having it given to us. That was a human experience. Yeah, time to rewrite that chapter. Anyway. How many of you here grew up with this box of cereal in your cupboard that said, Wheaties, the breakfast of champions? Yeah. Do you realize what that did to us? This is another bar of perfection, right? I call it the life of fish wrappers. Fish wrappers over in England, they take the ragtag magazines and the stories aren't real, but they get our attention. And so we're like that as humans. We like those fishtail wrapper stories. They're kind of fun and dramatic and stuff, like the wars in the Bible, the horrible stuff that happens. But we get these myths that we put out there. We need to be a champion. We need to be top in our field. If we eat the right food, if we wear the right clothes, if we do the right things, go to the right school, know the right people, we too will be a champion. We will be the best of everything in the world. The quote from this astrophysicist says, "The tyranny of the norm is that part of modern existence that seduces a person out of their truth." Wow. The tyranny of the norm is the part of modern existence that seduces the person out of their truth. It's so real, it's so flashy, it's so catchy, it just tugs at our emotions. We want to get involved in it. In favor of conforming to the pressure of collective thought forms. So that part that gets us to deny our own truth of who we are so that we can be the average. We can be part of the norm. We can be non-exceptional. So maybe we won't be noticed. We will just be part of the wave, never to be a wave itself. Really skews our social relevance. It's almost like a punishment if we stand out, if we do something different, if we make a mistake. I have yet to really get comfortable myself with making mistakes. I cringe. There's a little quiz that comes online, Conversations. It's called Conversations. It comes out, and they ask you questions about the news week, and then at the end you get your score. And every time I miss one, I go, drats, I wish I could go and do it over again. This is a score nobody's going to see, and I can feel myself going, I didn't answer that perfectly. I should have known that. That was an important thing that happened this week, and I didn't know it. So it's so easy to fall into that trap of perfection. Now, I think there's perfection, but I also think what's more important is excellence. And sometimes I think we get these mixed up. So perfection and excellence start out with the same kind of basic. You need to commit to what you're going to commit to. You need to have a discipline. You need to, you need to focus. You need to decide where you're investing your energy and keep investing it there. But here's where the path differs. When we're perfection, is about beating others. When we're excellent, it's our personal best. Like American Ninja Warrior. I love those guys and ladies because they don't compete. That's their personal best every time. Perfection feeds the ego. I got perfect on that test. Da-da-da. Where excellence satisfies the heart. Yeah. Personal gain versus everybody gets success. Right? See, one is competitive. One is about raising everybody. That as the water rises, all boats rise. Perfection is about playing to win, where excellence is about winning to play. The winning, in a sense, about why are you doing this? Justifying your actions so that you know that this is a good and loving and kind thing to do. That's why you're playing. That's why you're interacting with other people. That's why you're taking a risk. That's why you're sometimes making mistakes. Mistakes can be absolutely excellent. This is the motivation of our little self from our big self, that inner self, the Christed consciousness. I want to share an Islamic story with you, Chinese wisdom. You may have heard this before because so many traditions like this story because it's such a wonderful one. There's an elderly Chinese woman had these 2 large pots which she hung around her neck, and she used these to bring water from the stream to her home every day. One of the pots had a crack in it, and the other was perfect and always delivered a full portion of water. At the end of the long walk, the cracked pot arrived half full. For a full 2 years, this went on daily, with the woman only bringing back a pot and a half of water. And of course, the perfect pot was proud of its accomplishments. Can't you just feel the perfect pot? I've met the measure. My bar is up there. The poor cracked pot was ashamed of its own imperfection and miserable that it could only do half of what it had been made to do. Poor cracked pot. After 2 years of After 2 years of what it perceived to be bitter failure, the crackpot spoke to the woman on their way to the stream. I'm ashamed of myself because this crack in my side causes water to leak all the way back to the house. And the old woman smiled, said, did you notice that there are flowers on your side of the path, but not on the other pot side? That's because I've always known about your flaw, so I planted flower seeds on your side of the path. And every day when we walk back, you water them. For 2 years, I've been able to pick these beautiful flowers to decorate the table. And without you being just the way you are, there would not be this beauty to grace the house. Each of us has our own flaws. But it's the cracks and the flaws that we have that make our lives together so interesting, so rewarding, so unpredictable. You just got to take each person for what they are and look for the good in them as well as looking for the good within ourselves. The gift of imperfection. So the truth is, this is the truth I want you to take away with you. You're all right already. Let's affirm that. I'm all right already. One more time. I'm all right already. Anybody have any resistance to that? Little, almost all right. There's a little bit back. If I don't look at that part of me, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm all right. And sometimes we're so afraid of settling before we reach our full potential, which we don't even know what it is yet, so we're afraid of making a mistake, and we get on this whole little hamster wheel of moving back. Where we get radical self-acceptance, we allow ourselves to be nurtured from within. This is an infinite supply that can never stop loving us loving us, our large self loving our little self. It's giving ourselves space to grow, room for grace. Grace says it's not the end of the world when you make a mistake. And instead of moving from imperfection to perfection, it's about simply moving from one phase of development to another phase of development. I kind of like it one night you make salad for dinner, the next night you make soup. It's not that one is more perfect than the other, they're just different. They're different phases of growth and development. In Japan, they have this wonderful tradition you may have heard of, Sutukuro. And whenever a piece, like a ceramic piece, gets a crack in it or a broken piece, they fill it with gold to honor the flaw, to make it even more special. The flaw is more special than the original perfect bowl. Isn't that a lovely tradition? Yep. Yeah, that's where we need to be. So we get into radical self-acceptance, and we may still have a little part of us stuck in that original sin. I like to remember that sin, besides being an archery term of missing the target, it's self-imposed nonsense. Self-imposed nonsense. We are so good at making up these stories, so good. It's a nonsense where we ignore that there is oneness, that we have this illusion that somehow we are separate. Somehow we, out of every living thing on this planet, are separate. Only us. We are so unique, it is only us that doesn't feel it, anyway, I think you know what I'm talking about here. Who told us to leave the garden? Who told us to leave perfection? It was that cheerleader ego. Our cheerleader ego goes, yeah, go, you can do it. I won't say the word them, right, blank them. I'm in it, I'm going to just drive and get perfect here. It's okay, I don't need that. I don't need that at all. How many times did that happen? What we really need is positive deviancy. Yeah, that's a new term for you, right? Positive deviancy. That as long as we keep our intentions pure, we know where we're heading, that even mistakes will help take us there. Brian Andreas, one of my favorite artists, his grandmother did a lot when he was being raised, and when they would get paint by numbers, and she'd say to the kids, how are we going to do this? Absolutely wrong. She would take all the numbers off the bottles, and they would just go and do their thing. And that's what he was raised with. They're going to do it absolutely wrong. I love it. So this story I just had to share, wrong house with the right mistake. Do you ever make a right mistake? So this couple, they were in their 20s. There was an auction over in Scotland, and they were going to buy a flat. They thought they'd fix it up, be a little investment property. We've all been there, right? We're going to do this big investment. And he bought the lot, but the lot only had a number. It didn't have a picture. This is what he bought. He thought he was getting a flat in this little town outside of Glasgow, and he got this dilapidated house that had been split in two. Well, they worked on it for 5 years, and just last week they finally got the okay from all the safety board to move into it. And this is what they turned it into. So that was 5 years. Now they're in their early 30s, and look what they have. It was the wrong house, but it was the right mistake. Same way with us. How many times we go, this is not where I thought I was going, and look where I ended up. So we get to re-landscape that Garden of Eden. Garden of Eden being our state of consciousness. That full potential within our thought and heart process. That incredible intelligence that is within us. That creative power that is within us. We are the master gardener. And sometimes to get into that, to realize we have that freedom to replant, recraft, it's very likened to asanas. And Maya, I thought about getting a hold of you yesterday to have you come up. And an asana are very simple stretches. And if I could get up from the floor easily, we would do some up here this morning. But since I am not ready to to crawl, but it's just very simple stretches. Like I should have you display a few. Well, okay, that's. I'm not that. But the thing about the stretches is, there's not a perfect way to do it except how you can do it. You don't force yourself into it. You allow your body to take you there. And it's the same way with getting to our authentic self. We do it at the pace that we are able to pace ourselves to. However we do it is perfect for us in that moment. In the next moment that we do it is going to be different, and that's perfect too. So understanding this idea of perfection is about a completeness, a fullness, that covenant of peace with ourselves for the way things are in this moment. We get to distinguish the weeds from the flowers in our garden, in our mind, what thoughts we want to hold in there. Are they things that we're allergic to in our garden, thoughts that really do harm to our body? Or are they things that lift us up, like the little flowers on your table? I hope you smiled when you saw that this morning, something live there. One of the worst weeds we have, oh, I'm only human. What'd you expect? Anybody here fall into that? I'm only human. No, you are human. You are wonderfully human. This is not an excuse to be mean, to be unkind, to settle, to not use your God-given gifts. So it's like planting radical root plants, because what's growing is growing in the unseen until you get that strength within you to fully express in your life, whatever that may be. Be creatively maladjusted. Positive deviancy. It's not about adhering to a map or a script. It's about allowing room for spirit to grow. And if the ego comes up and goes, the cheerleader's going, yay, yay, let's do this. Let's get that big 100 on whatever exam it is you're taking. Just laugh it off. Ego just totally shatters when we laugh at it. We go, oh, you're being so silly. What in heaven's name difference would that make anyway? I was searching through for logos on the idea of know thyself. And I came across this symbol of knowing thyself. And as I looked at it, I go, oh my goodness, this is the original Unity logo, the Egyptian wings as they went in there. But as we go to know ourselves, we have this personality, and then we have this individuality, the individual expression of the allness, of the oneness. And the difference is, the personality is a persona. It changes. Our personality changes depending on who we're with. If you're playing with kids, you're one person. If you're talking to your boss, you're another person. If you're with your parents, you're another person. I remember I had a roommate, Bonnie used to say to me, I don't like you when you're around your mother, when you become your mother's daughter. Because I was she could see the difference in my personality. There's that changeable stuff about us. Personality pouts. That's a really good way, if that part of you that just pouts when they don't get their way. But our character, our individuality, that expression of that Christed presence within us, is the imprint of our soul. It learns from experience. It's driven to deliver the gifts of our talents, whatever they are, not measured by outer means, but by that inner soul driving. We are the flower unfolding. I don't know how your discussion went at the table, but I suspect you found the perfection at every stage of the flower. It's never late, it's never early, it just unfolds perfect in every way. So with that, this week is about living beyond the myth, and I remember Albert Camus said, in the middle of winter, I discovered that there was in me an invincible summer. That is that gold that fills the crack, that invincible summer that is always there, perfect in its imperfection. We're going to go into a time of meditation. Greg's going to lead us into a song. I invite you to sing with us and to incorporate those words into yourself.
I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself, and I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. I will be tender with my I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. I will be easy on myself. I will be easy on myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child.
I invite you to take a deep breath, and if it's comfortable, close your eyes. Just relax into this moment, breathing into the present, breathing into the moment, allowing the chair to support you, allowing the building to support you, allowing this magnificent planet to support you lovingly, fully, asking nothing in return, just simply to be your support. As we allow ourselves to move into that sacred place within the place of the capital S self, that place that connects with the oneness and the wholeness, that truth beyond even the myth of our being, that truth that is too great for words. Allow yourself to imagine that right now, every measurement has been removed. There are no longer grades or balances in bank accounts. There are not sizes or weights. There is not time. There is not maps of spaces, for we are all one. Imagine there is no bar to reach, no status in life to achieve by a certain age, for there is no longer age and there is no longer status. In this moment, we are as unfettered as the wind, moving at the speed of love, breathing with the breath of love. Let's just sit in that freedom for a moment, relishing, enjoying, doing our osanzas to ourself. A stretch of the heart, a stretch of the mind. Allow the words I speak to be the words of your own heart. Today, I make room in my heart for myself. My self-respect is reflected in my thoughts and actions. I embrace my imperfect perfection and express a sense of humor even as I do my inner transformation work. Life is good, and I realize the preciousness of my human incarnation in that I am all right already. And so it is. Amen.
Use me, oh God, I'll stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think God was the sun. God is the sun. A God so much more than the earth or the stars or all of creation. God is creator, all in all, needing us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I'll stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Command my hands, what must they do? Command my life, it's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new, needing us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I'll stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do.
Okay, spiritual practice for the week is to go to your edge. Okay? Buck Ghost Horse, who actually was part of the Mormon community after he was stolen from his Native American parents. He said sometimes we have to travel to the edge of ourselves to catch our center. And my favorite saying is, if you're not sitting on the edge, you're taking up too much room. Yep, there we go. Mantra for the week. I'm all right already. One more time together. I'm all right already. And with that, I get to invite Rachael and Elle up for, such a lovely tune. You're all going to be wanting to be singing and dancing with this in just the most delightful way.
Grab your coat and get your hat. Leave your worries on the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. Can't you hear a pitter-pat? Well, that happy tune is your step. Life can be so sweet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with my blues on parade, but I'm not afraid. This rover crossed over, and if I never have a cent, I'll be rich
Elle. Now is the time for our circle of generosity. The circle of generosity is a sacred exchange of prayerfully giving, receiving, and blessing. On each table, there's a glass jar where you can place your gifts to this ministry. We create the circle of generosity by sharing of the blessings that we have received. We know that the gift we give is not a debt we owe. It is a seed we sow from a consciousness of abundance. If you are donating by check or cash, please place your gift in the jar on the table. If you are donating electronically or by other means, please take a moment to place your hand over the jar or use one of the affirmation tokens in the other bowls on the table. We bless the gifts as we share of our love and treasure by affirming together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I praise, give thanks, and am glad. We'll continue our blessing by singing, I Am So Blessed.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
We are grateful for everyone's continued generosity of support of unity. One of the ways we show that gratitude is by sharing of our gifts with others. For the month of October, you voted to share a portion of our tithes with Loaves and Fishes Ministry to support their work of providing emergency shelter to anyone in need. Let us take a moment to deeply immerse ourselves in gratitude by collectively blessing the gifts received on your table. Given in love, received in love, we dedicate these gifts to do the will and the work of Holy Spirit. And so it is. Amen. Today at noon, we have a wonderful workshop entitled Become a Mindful Ninja with trauma therapist Ruth Fearnow. This is therapeutic mindfulness, which is an extremely helpful healing skill. The workshop begins at noon in the Lodge classroom and is offered on a love offering basis. There's a special edition of our City Pulse called Classified Ads on your tables. This has information about all of our Unity activities on Sunday and October 29th. That morning, we begin with the Day of the Dead experience at 9:30 in the Lodge as our Sunday adult learning time. At 10:30, during service, we invite everyone to wear a costume to service. Following the service that day, we are having cider, donuts, and snack luck. Now that's different than a potluck. Snack luck means finger foods to bring to share. While we're eating, we will have a town hall experience to share information and to get your opinion on things. And also that evening is our annual trunk or treat. Enter your trunk by signing up at the credenza. The sign-up sheet is right back here, and that will run from 6 to 7:30 that evening. The October Unity Pulse and Classified Ads is on your table. Please take one for information on all the activities here at Unity. There are also posters on the information rack over by the credenza and more information on our website, unitylansing.org. And before we close our service today, we have one more special announcement. Greg, take it away.
Okay. Well, some of you may know today is Clergy Appreciation Day. You didn't know that? Would you please come up here, Reverend Sharon? I can't even begin to express how much we as a congregation appreciate you. No idea. I hope we're right about that. But still, every day is Clergy Appreciation Day.
Well, you know, and as I say, I realize I forgot to say something during my talk, because I appreciate all of you, so I really hope at each table somebody will take home the rose to remind themselves whatever is unfolding within them is perfect right as it is. So
But you are
thank you.
loved and you are
Thank
appreciated.
you. Thank you.
More than you know.
Oh, what a great place to be. Thank you. Oh, namaste. Namaste. Bring on the chocolate. Yeah.
Now, before you sit down, let us stand and as we form
No sitting down here.
as we form our closing circle or lines or however you want to join hands if you would like, make sure you're asking those next to you if they want to hold hands or not. And we will close the service by singing together, I Choose Love, followed by the prayer of protection.
Peace in my life is growing because I choose love. Love's always present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one tie that binds us, that can't be undone. I choose love. Peace on the planet is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one tie that binds us, that can't be undone. I choose love. I choose love. We choose love. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God is within us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.